People think they're seeing ghosts.
Everything was fine with our system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here.
They caused an explosion.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
That's such a great line, great scene from the original Ghostbusters movie. I have seen every single Ghostbusters movie, and I love them all. And yes, don't at me. I love the one with the ladies. That's actually the funniest of the bunch. It's really inappropriate at times, and I love it. But that being said, they screwed up. We don't need to go into the rabbit hole of how they should have done it, because I can openly admit that they screwed up the script. But anyway, that's not on the ladies. It's just it's funny though. Anyway, so hope you guys are having a great day. I'm recording this on Halloween. We have some Halloween stories sent in by some of you guys. I also have some scary stories as far as what's in the headlines today that are pretty freaking gnarly and pretty scary that will make you think a little bit more about, dang, what the freak is going on here. But we'll get into that here in a minute. Hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening or watching. And remember, today's show is presented to you by Owl Pipe ID. That, see, I didn't do a good owl there. I should have been, right? Not the caw from yesterday. Okay, good thing I didn't do that. That would have been embarrassing. Anyway, Owl Pipe ID. Go to owlpipeid.com. Also brought to you by Bet Online. In fact, basketball fans, it's that time of year again. The NBA is back. Whether it's opening tip-off to buzzer beaters, Bet Online has you covered with the best odds, biggest promotions, and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. This season, every game matters. Bet Online has every stat, matchup breakdown, and live odds to bet on during the game. And it's not just the NBA. Bet Online has odds on everything from football, NHL, to political props. Head to betonline.ag today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. It's Bet Online. The game starts here. Before we get into the headlines and before I get into some of the submissions that you guys gave me for Halloween, I have to say this. I tweeted this out. I got very little reaction to it, but it was kind of, I feel like I hit a sore spot. And in a way, Halloween should always be on a Saturday in my mind. Now, when I tweeted that out, a listener named Billy said, or it could be Friday. Either would be a superior option to the floating in the middle of the week thing that we got going on right now. I don't see what the big deal would be if we did a Friday or a Saturday. I would lean towards Saturday. I think that would give people more options because there's a good chunk of people that work Monday through Friday. But either way, I think it would be better. And some people are like, that's blasphemy. You can't. No, come on, fuck it. Who cares? This is like it's holidays. They're not that big of a deal. Okay. We do this with our kids. I don't know how many times we've done this. Their birthday is on, say, a Tuesday. We celebrate on Saturday. Guess what? Nobody was harmed in the making of that party. What's the big deal? Quit freaking out over it. It's just a fucking stupid holiday where you dress up and people give you candy. It's a diabetic nightmare. That's what it is. Probably shouldn't even be hanging. If I was going to say this, like, what's a better option to hand out other than candy? Because you got to be careful. If you hand out the wrong things to trick-or-treaters, what that could do is manifest itself into your house getting TP'd and egged. That can happen. You start handing out toothbrushes, dental floss, and little tiny Bibles. Guess what? Your house is going to get egged. Most likely. Give those little sugar shits, what they need. Little crackheads when it comes to sugar. Throw it at them, then leave. Let them be. It's like buying your safety. That's what that is. Okay? It's like paying off the local drug lord. Be like, here, just take the candy. Just leave our family alone. Promise that you won't attack us. You are good in my company now. You are good. I got you. Now, John over there, he is on my shit list. He is not giving me any fucking candy. We're going to defecate on his hood of his car. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. If you're an asshole to the trick-or-treaters, too. So you got to be nice. It's always fun. I usually, we'll go out, hand out candy. Or, excuse me, we'll go with the kids, go around the block. We don't really go any further than that. We got a nice block here. And we'll do that, then come home. And, well, last year what we did was we got security cameras on our front porch. We got 2 of them just on the front porch. We got other places too. So maybe this is why it works so well. My wife is just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just put the bucket of candy on the front porch and say, please take one. And what's funny is we had a decent amount of trick-or-treaters. When we came back, it wasn't empty. And I went back and looked at it, like kids were being really good about taking 1 or 2. I'm like, oh, that's good. Good for them. They're scared shitless, as they should be, because I will hunt them down. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. That there motherfucker, that there. He just took 3. He took 3 Snickers. Let's hunt him down. Put them all over the next door app. This little thief stole 3 Snickers. Motherfucker. He must be arrested. He must be brought to justice. Hey, you know what we need to do? Let's jump into some headlines.
Let's go! Let's go!
And now, here are the headlines.
This is basically a horror movie. I think they kind of did a horror movie that was similar to this.
If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it.
Wait, that's Lake Placid. That's the one where there was a giant, alligator, right? That's the one where Betty White says this.
If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it.
She was a national treasure. Oh, man. Oh, wow. No, I'm thinking of Anaconda. I don't have any good sound bites from that because I've never seen the movie because I hate snakes and it's disgusting. It would freak me out. And speaking of snakes, pythons in Florida are shocking scientists. That's not a sentence you want to hear. Here's more from ABC 6 in Florida.
Scientists in Florida are sounding the alarm over what they're calling a wildlife issue of our time.
It feels like we caught the serial killer in action.
A new study finds invasive Burmese pythons in South Florida, which can grow to 18 feet long, are able to open their jaws wider than previously thought, making them capable of swallowing native deer and alligators whole.
These are things you don't see every day.
This jaw-dropping video shows a 115-pound snake doing just that. Its jaws stretched around a 77-pound white-tailed deer.
For us biologists, this was the most intense thing we've ever seen on assignment. This was as primal as it gets.
Gross.
But this National Geographic-worthy footage has major implications. Severe declines in mammal populations throughout Everglades National Park have been linked to the species. One study finding populations of raccoons and opossums dropped 99% over a 15-year period. Bobcats dropping 87%. Other mammals have effectively disappeared.
Imagine just thousands and thousands of pythons eating their way through the Everglades.
Local officials hold an annual python hunt. I tagged along with some of the hunters last year.
When you tell people, I'm a snake hunter, what's their first reaction?
You're nuts. Every python that these participants remove is one more python out of here. We sent one more out of the glades, but that's also one less thing that's just eating the glades.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Oh, I guess New York? Sorry, I thought it was in Florida. Well, we all learned something, didn't we? That's disturbing. Another reason not to move to Florida. We were talking about that not too long ago, where, you got the alligators, crocodiles, whatever they are out there, and then you got the fucking pythons. It's disgusting. And now, like, the video, it's like we knew that they could detach their jaws, but this is like an on-scene amount of detachment. That's so fucking scary. I don't ever want to go to Florida or anywhere pythons can be roaming around any day of the year. That's disturbing. Oh, God. It could eat me, no problem. That's just a python. If it was a fucking anaconda, yeah, duh, it could eat me. But these are just pythons that they got roaming around. And they do like they were saying, they do that annual python hunt out there in Florida. But apparently it's not doing enough. We were going through the numbers on that, and I want to say they only caught like say 200 to 300 of them. And if you think about uh when they have eggs, I don't know how often they have babies, but it's not just like one egg, it's multiple eggs, and they're pumping out babies right and left. And there's plenty of things for it to survive on out there. So it's just flourishing. Like Florida, you got hurricanes, you got gators, and you got pythons. It is not a good place to be. And it just sounds like it's getting worse. I imagine this is a sad prediction that I'm going to throw out there. By the end of 2025, we're going to hear a story coming out of Florida where somebody was consumed, like an adult. And I'm sure there's plenty of those that happen with the gators, but for the pythons, for somebody to find out that their aunt, their uncle, their whoever was consumed by one, I wouldn't doubt if that becomes more commonplace. Like it may have happened, just nobody knows. That's fucking gross. Oh my God. If I saw a python, this is what I would say.
If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it.
Wait, did I just call myself dickless? Oh my God, I did. It did. What the hell?
What the fuck?
It's a funny soundbite though. It is. You know what? I'm fine with it. Whatever. This is wild. Extraterrestrial life could be 1.7 billion miles away from Earth on Uranus's moon, Miranda. First of all, I didn't know by the way, I'm making sure I don't say Uranus because of all you immature motherfuckers out there, myself included. I didn't realize it had a moon that was called Miranda. That's so weird. Anyway, researchers at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory have discovered evidence of an ocean beneath Miranda's surface, which they say could be habitable. Habitable. There could be life under there. It could grow. This is what Tim Nordheim, co-author of the study, said. To find evidence of an ocean inside a small object like Miranda is incredibly surprising. And they're wanting to set their sights on exploring that moon as soon as they can. But obviously, that takes a lot of funding. It takes a lot of planning. And then it's just like, shit, once you're there, now what? And I looked it up. NASA's Voyager 2 spacecraft that went to search, that it was researching a bunch of shit out there in the solar system. It took 9.5 years to reach Uranus after launching in 1977. So it's not like it's like, hey, we discovered that there's potential life on Uranus. Let's go out there. Let's go. It's not like a month. It's not going to be a year. It could be from launch to getting there is like 9 years, 9 to 10 years, depending on traffic. Of course, it's 1977. Who knows? It might be a little quicker, but I can't imagine it's going to be. Not enough to sit there and go, wow, it's now only 9 years, not 9.5. Either way, that's pretty wild to think about. And the reason I added this into the Halloween special is because when you think about it, what's more frightening? Ghosts or aliens? What's more believable? Ghosts or aliens? That's an interesting thing. I get a little tired of the whole alien narrative. Like everybody's just like, oh, we have, all these UFOs and whatever, blah, 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 blah. For all I know, that's some sort of, look over here while we do something else type of thing. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. But when you look at this, where it's pretty damn close to us, and if for some reason they were intelligent life forms over there, and then they're visiting us, that's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy. And it goes back to the dark forest theory, where I believe it's where they're kind of sitting back and observing. They're not interacting full on with us. They're just sitting back and looking. Some people believe that there may be crafts behind on the dark side of the moon, or blah blah blah, but whatever. Who knows? But the scary part is, okay, if we found out that there's actual intelligent life on there, the scary part is, what does that mean for us as a whole, us as a society here on Earth? Because people here are going to feel obligated that we need to reach out, which could be devastating to not just us, but it could be devastating to their society out there. You're mixing two different types of species, and who knows what we could bring to them that would potentially wipe them out unintentionally, as far as bacteria. And same thing for here. It's really bizarre when you start rolling around it. And then my what is that thing that I made up? Oh, clusterfuck of madness. My clusterfuck of madness idea is, or my theory is, that let's say the Mirandians, we'll just call them that, come to Earth, and they're very intelligent. And they could come in, quote unquote, peace, and they want to interact their technology with our technology. They want to find a peaceful arrangement. But guess what would happen? The clusterfuck of madness suggests that no matter what, the conclusion will always veer towards chaos. It will always veer towards somebody, definitely on our side, not thinking correctly and taking action and causing chaos by use of violence. So as much as I think it would be kind of neat to interact and to one day to officially find out that there are alien species out there, and even in our solar system, like in this case, that would be phenomenal. It worries me that we aren't evolved enough to comprehend what it means to coexist. We can't even coexist with ourselves. Do you think that we're going to have some other alien species come down here, and then we're going to all of a sudden, we're like, you know what? I guess I was wrong. Let's interact with them. No, because people are going to be like, I don't like green things. I don't like them. They're gray. They're gonna steal our babies and eat them. It wouldn't end well, and that's pretty scary to think about. It is. The more you think about, maybe you would do a good job interacting. Maybe you would, but that doesn't mean that your coworker, it doesn't mean your neighbor, it doesn't even mean your spouse is going to interact properly with something like that, and it could just blow up. And then also you think about, like the bacteria exchange. You saw that in what, War of the Worlds, where the aliens were like allergic to our air, our atmosphere, something like that, and eventually they just died out. I mean, something in theory could, something like that, but it's fascinating. It is fascinating. And this is going to get the nerds just bubbling over with joy, as it should, because it's fascinating. But most likely, guys, it's not intelligent life that's out there. That's my assumption. Okay. I'm not a scientist. I'm not. I know. Fucking weird. Bizarre. You thought I was. Gotcha. I'm not. But the thing is, as nice as it would be, it's most likely not intelligent life that's out there. Most likely, if anything, it's just miscellaneous. I don't even know what that would be. Unsophisticated life that's out there. Just you know, miscellaneous slugs and bugs and fish and whatever. Something that is different from here, but essentially same without the intelligence of human beings. That's a high possibility. Now, it could be intelligent life out there, but most likely it's not, based on the fact of, well, I should say this, based on everything I've been told, and based on everything I've witnessed. I haven't witnessed shit. But that being said, my eye is not glued over on Uranus, even though you wish it was, you pervert. But I guess if there's somebody out there that has been monitoring Uranus, I should go back to Uranus. They're over there monitoring the planet and the surrounding moons. And if they've noticed anything bizarre like spacecraft, okay, yeah, then there we go. But you never hear of that. But that being said, that could be, let's say NASA has been, and they're not going to fucking say anything. You know why? Because we're all batshit crazy down here on Earth. We can't handle that shit. It goes back to the clusterfuck of madness. We can't handle the idea, the truth. If the truth, I want to believe, Fox Mulder, the truth is out there. If the truth is out there, and the truth is that there actually is life, intelligent life on Miranda, that moon Miranda, if that's, we couldn't handle that. We'd freak out. It would be, I don't know, it would be so fucking bizarre. Start looking at your coworkers. Start looking at your family members. Who's going to fuck it up first? They come down here, they want to interact. We come in peace, bro. Somebody's going to fuck it up. Somebody's going to fuck it up. Look at the elections. Look how people act with fucking politicians that are human beings. Look how crazy they are on all sides. You think we're going to do well with a fucking alien species coming down here trying to mingle? Trying to buy you a drink at the bar? Fuck yeah, I'd bang an alien. Yeah, it's fine. They're attractive. Why not? You ever been blown by a Mirandian? No. No, I haven't. Oh, well, get ready to live. Oh, boy. Ow. We're going to get into some more. And I got, you know what? We'll just skip to the mailbag here in a second, because I got some good stories. Couple good stories that I want to read, and then we'll react to. But first, owlpipeid.com. You need to go there right now. I'm going to tell you how to get 30% off your order. Owl, like a bird. Don't you dare go, caca, caca. Only a fool would do that. Never mind yesterday's show. Anyway, Owl Pipe ID makes decals that are industrial quality and made for the trades at lower prices than you'll find at all the other big online sticker retailers who are just selling you lower quality stuff. Trust me, I made that mistake. I went with other companies, and then I try Owl Pipe ID, and I'm like, oh my God, so much better. Owl Pipe ID is legit. Owl Pipe ID are in mechanical rooms throughout the city, helping plumbers identify what's flowing through the pipe. They make promotional stickers for breweries, cannabis shops, retailers, schools, podcasts. I mean, if you're looking at the webcam right now, I'm showing you, I put some stickers on this other mug. This was, my wife took this from me, but then I decided to put some stickers on there. So suck it. It's mine again. Anyway, they're awesome. And the fact that I put them on these like coffee mugs and stuff, and I run them through the dishwasher. My other one, I put it on there. It's been at least 20 times through the dishwasher. You would never know. It looks brand new. I have a one on the back of my car because I met Owl Pipe ID about a year ago. Put it on the back of my car. Over a year ago, it still looks brand freaking new. It's awesome. Why? Because Owl Pipe ID uses premium industrial vinyl with UV baked ink. That means they're protected from sunlight for 7 years. If you're still unsure, that's okay. I get it. Rhea's the queen over at Owl Pipe ID. She's going to work with you and send you some free samples of your logo and artwork. Just go to owlpipeid.com. Click on that big red button that says request a quote. Tell Rhea what your project is, and she's going to respond quickly. You can email her directly, sales@owlpipeid.com. Include in the email my exclusive promo code DEHUFF to get 30% off your first order worth $5,000 or less. Check them out at owlpipeid.com. Oh, you know what I should have done. By the way, quick sports news before we get into that. I was going to play the Open, but I'm not going to. Not going to. Don't believe it. Don't believe in it. Dodgers won the World Series. Congratulations to them. Not a huge baseball fan, but since my kid plays baseball, I'm starting to get back into it. Back in the day, I loved watching Ken Griffey Jr. He was the guy that I wish I could play like, but I was terrible. Bo Nix, Denver Broncos quarterback, was just named the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Month after throwing for 870 yards, 7 touchdowns, and an interception while completing 66.7% of his passes in the month of October. So congratulations to him. Way to go, dude. Way to go. You're not done yet, though. You're not done. You got a big hurdle in front of you that is in the form of Lamar Jackson in the Baltimore Ravens. That game kind of scares me. I'm going to do my pregame preview presented by kirkwallgroup.net, kirkwallgroup.net. You got to check them out for all your bookkeeping and tax services. But I'll record that later after I'm done with this, and then I'll get that posted for you. But that's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a tight one. You know what we need to do? Let's jump into the mailbag.
Mailbag. You've got mail.
I should have made like a great Halloween open, like, hello, it's time for creepy stories. A Duff Uncensored. Woo! I could have done that, but I didn't because I'm lazy. I was also picking up vomit this morning, so bleh. I was a little bit behind because I ended up having the carpet cleaned. Thanks to the puppy for that one, little dick. Well, in the spirit of Halloween, I asked for people to send in some stories. These are the 2 best ones that I'm going to pick. So nothing against everybody else, but some of them were just like, just funny ones. Or some of them were, I'm like, okay, that's not even, that's just dumb. What was the one? I should have wrote this down. I meant to write it down. But again, I got blindsided by puke. Thought it was a moment where I was like, is it puke or poop? And then thankfully it was just puke. But anyway, there's somebody who's just like, I have a scary story for you. I saw myself in the mirror naked this morning. Something like that. I'm like, okay, that's funny. But this one comes in from DC. DC wrote, many years ago, my family lived in a house in Aurora. When I was about 9, we had an incident. Middle of the night, my younger sister, who was 7, her and I shared a room, by the way. We were woken up by the sound of heavy knocking on our door. We yelled to come in, thinking it was either our mom or dad. Nothing happened. The door didn't open. About 20 seconds later, I kid you not, as we were about to fall back asleep, heavy knocking again, this time from our closet. My sister and I looked at each other, screamed. Both parents ran into our room. After investigating, they found nothing. We slept with them the rest of the night. About a week later, same time of night, the knocking happened again. But not on the door to start, on the closet. I got up, walked to the sound. I was trying to protect my little sister who was silently crying. God, that's so sad to think about. I slid the door open. Nothing was there. I turned to tell her that it must have been our imagination. Then, boom, the closet door slammed shut. Then we swear we heard something say, out. After this, we were too scared to sleep in our own room. Thankfully, our parents were understanding. My dad got a job, thankfully, in the Broomfield area just by coincidence. So we decided to move to avoid the commute and to get out of the house. And whatever the heck that was, the new house had no issues. That's crazy. Crazy. That's interesting. I don't now, that being said, he said he was 9 and 7. I mean, I don't know. I would like to say that it was just your imaginations, but I mean, you guys are pretty old at that time. And for it to slam shut behind you, that's pretty fucking wild. And it said, out. Out, motherfucker. Could you imagine? A diva ghost would be awesome. Sorry, I know that scared the shit out of you, DC. But I'm just thinking, we were talking about naked ghosts the other day. A diva ghost would be awesome too. Oh shit. Oh man, could you imagine that? Oh my god, my head is spinning right now. I'm just starting to think of like, what would a diva ghost do? Like you're sitting there and you don't use a coaster and you put your glass of whatever on the table and you just hear this. Oh hell no! You're like, wait, what the fuck was that? That would be hilarious. Sorry. What if like you're getting naked, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and you just heard laughing like, that's so sad. And you're like, what? There's a ghost making fun of my penis? What the shit? What the shit, man? That being said, DC, I don't know. That sounds freaky, dude. That sounds freaky. Dude, you're lucky. What are the odds? Like your dad got a job that was north of where you were at, so it just made more sense to move, right? Like that's a point where like if you got a job at another company, but it was, only like a 10-minute commute difference, you're probably going to stay at that house. But if it's just like, no, that's like, that could be like an hour, depending on what time he had to go to work. It could be more. And you're like, you know what? No, fuck it. We're leaving. We're moving somewhere else. That's crazy. Thanks for sending that in, DC. Ken, no, not that Ken. That's what he wrote. That's what he wrote. Are you meaning this?
Right, as always.
Okay, Ken, I like it. I like your style, Ken. I like it. Ken wrote in, this happened last week. Nice. Says, I was cleaning up an older building where I keep tools and other miscellaneous items. I was in there by myself. My wife was at the store. About an hour into cleaning, I heard footsteps. Thought it was my wife, but seemed too heavy thinking about it in hindsight. I heard her voice. What you doing? Is what she said. I responded with something like, probably gonna toss this. I turned to look at her. Nobody was there. I start calling out to her. Nothing. I call her cell, thinking that she maybe left the building and is somewhere else. I'm guessing is what he's talking about. No kidding. She was still at the store. What the hell was that, DeHuff? Taco kisses. Ken. No, not that Ken. Taco kisses. Yeah, that's creepy. I've heard that a lot. It's happened to me. I'll tell you that story in a second, where something mimics the voice of someone that you're close to. That's, in all honesty, of just about everything that I've experienced, that one kind of fucks with your head. That one's just twisted, and I don't like that. Don't like that. But he didn't add anything else to it, so I'm wondering if it's just like that must have been an isolated incident, and it was a simple, "What you doing?" Looking at this, and he was having a conversation with it. That's fucked up. So fucked up. And he turned to look at her, and she was gone, or it wasn't even there. That's trippy. That's trippy. I don't like it. I don't know. Ken, respond if you think about it. If there's anything else that happened, and keep us posted, because I think that's wild to think about. Has any of that stuff? Listen, we can go beyond Halloween. I know we're doing this Halloween special, but if you guys have stories like this, please let them know. I was kind of late to the program this year on reaching out, trying to get stories from you guys, and that's on me, not you guys. So if you guys have something and you want to share it like these guys did, please let me know. DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com or @DeHuffPodcast on social. So to share that the similar story to the Ken one, because I've heard of that stuff a lot. Ken, there and you guys, there was one time I had just come home from working the morning shift at the radio station. So I get home right around, I want to say it was like 1:00. And this is before we had kids, but we had, I want to say 1 or 2 dogs at the time. And I've shared this story before, but the point is I come home and I thought my wife was at work. And at the time, she didn't work from home because it was pre-COVID and all this stuff. And again, no kids at the time. So I'm downstairs. I made myself some lunch and I go to walk over to do something near the stairs and I hear, "Hey, babe." That's what my wife says to me all the time. "Hey, babe." Clear as day. Clear as day. And I remember going, "Hey, I didn't realize you were home. Did I miss you coming in?" Silence. And I walk up the stairs to where I heard her voice. Nothing. I go and switch through all the different rooms up there, bathroom, everything. "You in the shitter?" Ha! No, damn. So I go up there and nothing. She's not there. Wasn't her. I go to the garage to look. I was like, okay, what the fuck? Is her car even here? Go in there, look. Her car's not there. I text her. She's at work. She's not even in the building. In the house, I should say. Can't explain it. Can't explain it. Now, that voice came from a certain area of our house where my wife's office is now. At the time, they were essentially just miscellaneous bedrooms. One was kind of a storage. One was kind of a wishful thinking. Hopefully, we'll have a baby someday. That was going to be the nursery type of thing. There's 2 rooms over there. So adding on to that area of the house, I don't know the time frame between these 2 incidents. And I honestly can't tell you which one happened first, just to be clear. But there was another incident in that area where my dog at the time, his name was Cole, was a beautiful black lab. And I hear him growling, and he's at the top of the stairs. And he's slowly, like he's stalking something. Like he is ready to fucking rip some throat. And he is slowly walking up the stairs and turning the corner to go towards those rooms. Whatever's over there. Same place I had heard the voice. So he's up there, and is that hackles for their hairs up? That's what he had going on. He had his hackles up. Something was freaking him out. And I'm just like locked in on the dog watching him, and I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? And me being dumb, I go, Cole, what do you see? Like I should have looked a little bit more, investigated more of what he was staring at instead of just like, hey, do you speak English, doggy? What you say? And sure enough, I do that, and he looks at me and then looks back, and then just complete relief. Like whatever he had seen was gone. And it was, you could see and he was tense prior to me saying something. Then he looks at me, then looks back, and then everything was just like, oh shit, it was gone. It's gone. And then he wags his tail, comes over and licks me in the face. And it was just like he was scared. Can't explain it. No freaking idea what that was. So Ken, yeah, I've been there. I've seen that or witnessed that myself. I think that's a disgusting thing. I have heard that not too long ago with my kids. The only thing I will chalk that up to is potentially them talking in their sleep. But where the sound came from kind of throws that off because it came from right outside my door in our bedroom. Hey, Dad. Or it was just like, Dad, like full of energy. But meanwhile, it was like 11 o'clock at night. Then I get up and nobody's there. My daughter's in her room. She's in a bunk bed, so it's harder for her to get up and down, whatever. That one fucking pisses me off. Don't be doing that. Not with my kids. That shit just drives me nuts. We've had a lot of weird things happen in this house. Not too long ago, it sounded like somebody was walking on our main floor. We have a basement, main floor, and then then upstairs, right? And I hear somebody walking on the main floor, and we got hardwood floors, and I'm like, shit. And it sounded like somebody that was of good size. And I'm like, fuck, I'm ready to fight. I told my wife, just lock the door behind me. So I go down there, drag my dog with me. I'm like, come on, you go first. You go first. No, you go first. You're the dog. You got teeth. So I go down there, and I'm like, literally, as I turn the corner, guys, I'm in fighting stance. I'm like going back to when I, worked out with the guy that's the manager for Justin Guthrie, or I can never remember how to say his last name, but Luke Cadilla. I was remembering like what he taught me how to do because he used to be in UFC fighter too. And I'm like sitting there going, I'm like, okay, I'm turning the corner. This is what I'm going to, be ready. I got to be ready for this, and this. I am ready. The sound was so legitimate. I was ready to fight. And I'm thinking, no mercy, no surrender, protect the family, kill if need be. That's the way I was looking at it, right? As you should. You're protecting your house. Turn around, nothing. Okay? I'm slowly turning the corner. Ready? Nothing. Go throughout the entire house, nothing. I go back and check the camera that I have in the basement to see if my son had, been wandering around or anything like that. And I was checking the camera that we have on the main level too, see if he had been walking around there. Nothing. Nobody. No fucking idea. But I swear to fucking God. And when I got down the steps to that little, in between where it's, my brain's not functioning right now, where it's like a transition. It's a flat piece. And then there's more steps that go down. When I'm at that point, I heard like somebody took a big step, like a creak. And that's what it sounds. And that's where I was just like, oh shit, this is real. And there was nothing. There was nobody there. Can't fucking explain it. There was a time my wife and I, before we had kids, it sounded like somebody threw like all our blankets off of the banister. But we go to look, nothing was there. We've had a lot of, and that's in that same area where I heard sound like somebody was walking. Couldn't explain that. That was fucking bizarre. There was one time my wife and I were in our room hanging out, talking, and it sounded like from the corner of the room that somebody ripped a nasty ass fart. One of the funniest fucking spirit, weird paranormal things I've ever witnessed. Because she looks at me and she's like, "That wasn't you." And I'm like, it wasn't you. And then we look, and none of the animals were in the room. And we're like, that was a ghost fart. Like, that's hilarious. So the only thing we could think of, if you believe in ghosts, is that somebody we knew thought it would be funny to make a ghost fart. Fucking weird. Weird. There was a time I was doing dishes not too long ago, and my son still does it, but he'll try to scare me, and he'll sneak up on you and just go, rah, right? And sometimes my wife does that. I'm doing dishes, and all of a sudden I hear this, rah, right? Turn around, I'm like, oh, you got me, or you didn't get me, whatever I said. Nobody's there. I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. Then I look outside, is my wife and 2 kids were both outside, out front, playing. I'm like, well, I don't know where the fuck that roar came from. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't. So, whatever. There was a time where now sleep paralysis is an actual scientific thing. It's where your body doesn't fully wake up. There's a switch in your brain when you dream that paralyzes you so you don't start moving around in your dreams. Okay? There's a switch that essentially gets triggered. And sometimes what can happen is when you're really, really tired, those switches can be neglected to turn back on. So you wake up, but so you're stuck kind of in this limbo of dream and in awakeness. You can physically see things, you can see everything around you, but you can't fucking move. You can hardly even speak. And that happened to me, and it felt like there's this tremendous amount of pressure on my chest. And I thought I saw something in the corner coming towards me, and the pressure kept getting more and more and more intense. And I remember trying to scream out towards my wife to help me, and and I still remember the struggle of trying to get the vibration of my voice to actually start functioning properly. And I remember going, Randy, like that, and she's just like, what? Because it was like in the middle of the night. The more research I did on that's chalked up to exhaustion. And that's usually when you start talking to people that experience sleep paralysis, that's usually what that gets so I won't say that was a paranormal experience. I refuse to, because I was severely exhausted at the time with my job. The other thing that I've experienced is, let's see, did the voice from upstairs. I had to make notes. There was one time I was sitting on the bed, on the side of the bed. I'm sitting there, and then it felt like somebody literally sat down next to me, and there was a slight indention. But I'm sitting there going, was that indention there beforehand or not? And was that just the springs recoiling or something like that? So I didn't really want to say that was anything that was a ghost or anything like that. Now, at our previous house, there was some very interesting things that happened. One of the funnier things was I was in the restroom because, again, I worked early mornings. At the time, I was a traffic reporter. So I come home in the middle of the day, and I was probably going to go work at the fan later in the afternoon. Come home, use the restroom. It's just me and the dogs in the house. I have the door open. I'm pooping with the door open. Why not? Dogs need to see who's the master, huh? Who's the alpha? I'll poop in front of you. Don't care. Don't care. But I remember my dog Logan is out in the hallway, and I'm using the restroom. Like I said, door's open. So the door opens towards me. and there was a green hanger on the doorknob. I had been in there for like a minute, and then all of a sudden, the hanger starts swinging. It wasn't like I just got in and sat down and the hanger starts swinging, because then you could justify that as, well, that's probably, you probably bumped it, didn't realize it. Or just from opening the door, you just didn't realize it. No, I had been sitting there for approximately a minute and it started moving to the point where Logan, my dog, sees this happening. He's out in the hallway, so he's approximately 3 feet away. It's about just over an arm's length away for me if I were to grab the doorknob, so it was just out of reach. He looks at it and tilts his head, like cocks his head, like, what the hell am I looking at? And it's just going back and forth. And I remember saying, could you at least wait till I'm done going to the bathroom? I mean, what else am I supposed to say? I'm not going to freak out and not wipe my back end. I got to finish my business. I was a little irritated. Like, you can't just give me some space. My goodness. What else are you guys peeking in on, you sickos? Huh? You like this? You like what you see? Is this fulfilling your fantasies, you sick ghosts? So that one was funny. Same house. I want to say there was multiple things, but the other thing that I remember was there was one morning, I wake up in the middle of the night. And, sometimes you just wake up and I'm just like wide awake. I'm sitting there thinking about work and whatever. And all of a sudden, my dog, Cole, was sleeping next to us on the floor to my right. And I hear, it's clear as day. I couldn't tell you what she said, but it was like I'm guessing it was German. I don't really know, but it sounded like a little girl talking to me in German. I had been awake for a couple minutes, just sitting there, rolling around, what am I doing in life type of thing. And I'm like, where is this coming from? But it was at the foot of, it was past our bed. It would have been like at the foot of the bed is where the sound was coming from, the voice. Couldn't tell you any little bit that she said. Then I look over at my dog, and he's looking over at it like doing the cocked head thing. I go, I don't know what that bitch is saying, but shit, that's creepy. Right? That's fucking weird. Fucking weird. Can't explain it. No idea. Could I have been tripping? Maybe I was actually asleep and didn't realize it. Maybe your mind can play tricks on you. We lived in a house in Inglewood where the grandma, her name was Goldie. She passed away in the house. Years later, we're renting it. My mom and us 3 kids. This is after my dad passed away, before my mom met my stepdad. And we're living there, and we find out that the lady allegedly was still wandering the house. We had similar silverware as she did, but my mom kept it in a different drawer. And we would come in the mornings, and the silverware would be moved to the other drawer, allegedly. I was like 7 at the time. I'm taking my mom's word for it. So that was crazy. There was a time my brother and I lived in the basement, and on the other side of the wall of us was this little almost like a closet that was for the washer and dryer. And middle of the night, all of a sudden, we're sound asleep, and just imagine the sound of a washer and dryer, and imagine 2 fists just pounding the shit out of it. Brother and I shoot up, run upstairs. Because we're like, fuck that. I can't explain it. Nobody was running laundry at the time, so it's not like it was an unbalanced load or something. It was bizarre. Nobody was down there. Wasn't my sister being a bitch or anything like that. No. No. So can't explain it. I've played you audio in previous years of my dad when he was going to seminary school and he had to give testimonial of anything that was spiritual or paranormal that had occurred in his life. And he shared a story of, I don't remember where they were, but there was a house that they lived in. And as they were trying to move, because they had a lot of experiences happening in the basement and the dogs refused to go in the basement, uh, where they had some bags of, say clothes or whatever that were down there, and they could hear them being thrown around. And they go down there, and sure enough, all the bags have been just tossed around, but they don't know who did it. And there was a point at that house when they're trying to get things packed up to move, and he comes into the kitchen, and he had just been in the kitchen, turns around, comes back, and like all the cabinet doors, all the doors and drawers are just wide open. And he tried to duplicate it. He's like, is it something like with air pressure? He was a scientist. He had degrees in science and all these things. He was a smart dude. So if it didn't want to compute, it's like, no, that shouldn't be able to happen. Not based on air pressure. And he would be trying to do certain things and it wouldn't work. And he tried it and tried it. But prior to that, that moment scared him so much that he says it in the audio. I don't want to play it right now, but it scared him so much that it gave him diarrhea for a few days. It just shocked him. So as I go through all these stories, and Ken, not that Ken, as well as DC, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for chiming in. It makes you wonder, what would we do if we ever found out that ghosts were officially real? I think it would cause a lot more stress in our lives if we knew 100% that ghosts were in fact real, because you'd have that paranoia of somebody who's always watching you, right? You might get that moment here and there where you think something's happening, but if you knew 100% that it was fact, I think it would cause more problems for us. And as much as I think it would be neat for us to fully have some evidence that says it is true, I think it would be more of a devastating impact on us mentally than anything. And I just I just don't think that we should do that. And the hard part is, a lot of people will say, well, there's a lot of evidence online. Well, no, there's not. There might be, I should say this, there might be some spots here and there that are good. But the problem is there is so much fake stuff out there, especially now with technology advancing more and more. And the problem is there's a lot of people that try to capitalize in fake shit. Because of those, to try to find what is fact is almost impossible, because there's so much junk out there, so much nonsense out there, that you really can't tell what's real. And even if you saw something that was real, you're going to judge it in a negative fashion, as you should, because you don't want to believe everything is a ghost just because it's on TikTok or whatever. And people can fake shit so easily. If you have a ghostly experience, a paranormal experience, who am I to tell you that it's true or not? If you believe it to be true, then own it. That's fine. But what sucks is for the people that want that closure of this is truth, we'll probably never officially find out. We probably shouldn't. But the reason why we won't officially ever find out if ghosts are real are because of all these people that fake shit nonstop. They make a career out of it. People lie about it for attention. You start going back with the Amityville horror stuff and like that. You start doing research and you find out that the people that sold the rights to their names to be associated with that, they were in debt, and they had people come in and say, let's write this story and then we can make some money off of it. You start going through a lot of that stuff and you see the shadiness that comes alongside it, and it fucks with people that really are wanting those moments of closure, especially like my dad passing away. My mom, she still holds on to the idea that maybe he's watching over us. Maybe he is. You don't want to take that away from somebody. But when people do fake shit, it tarnishes all that. And there's more harm in that. And I know they're just trying to make a quick buck. They're trying to get some clicks, but it fucks everybody over. But ultimately, if you believe in ghosts, I don't judge you. I've had a lot of experiences, but I'm still one of those guys that still is hesitant towards it. And I still have a problem with accepting, is it really happening or not? And I try to go through these moments of like that voice that when I heard my wife's voice, then I'm like thinking, is that just me? Maybe I thought it. Maybe I just had some weird mental thing that happened and I thought I heard that. It's possible. There's a lot of unexplained things in our world. And just because they're there doesn't mean that we need to understand them. As long as they're not hurting you, I don't see what the big deal is. But I'll tell you this real quick. The moment I left this out when I originally told the story, but I just remembered I did it, and it could be some good advice for you. If you're experiencing something like this that is potentially negative in your home, and it's causing negative energy to spill through, especially if you have children. What I did when I heard my wife's voice and then I investigated and realized she wasn't home, I sat on those steps and I did the same thing when my dog was growling out there. I had a heart to heart with whatever the fuck was over there. I envisioned in my mind that I was surrounded by white protective light of peace and strength. And I told it to get out of the house. This is my house. You're not welcome here. Don't know if you're passing through or if you've been here for a while. Either way, you're not welcome. So get out. And then I envision in my mind that the whole house is filled with that white light, room to room, in the closets, the corners, everywhere, basement, everywhere, top to bottom. This is my house, not it. So just something, if you're sitting there going, I don't know what to do, you're strong. If you feel like that you're running into something like that could help you out. Or it could bite you in the ass. I don't know. Don't know. If you see a ghost dick, let me know. Duff Uncensored. All right. Yeah, I know it was kind of serious at the end, but you know what? I think that stuff's interesting. If you want to pass along some stories, please do so, and we can always circle back and do some more of these. Sprinkle them in. I think those are interesting. Interesting. If you want to reach out to me, DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on socials at DeHuffPodcast. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Really appreciate it. A little different show. Yes, it's Halloween. That's fine. Be safe tonight if you're out and about. Eat that sugar. Eat that candy, baby. And we'll be back to normal headlines starting next week. Big thanks to Owl Pipe ID. Go check them out at owlpipeid.com, as well as Bet Online. Go to betonline.ag. You guys are fantastic. Have a wonderful day. It's DeHuff Uncensored. Let's continue to move forward. I'll talk to you next.